Hey folks, let me ask you a quick question. When was the last time you really looked at your pennies? No, I don't mean glance at them while fishing them out of your car's cup holder to pay for a $1.02 coffee. I mean actually looked, like with one eyebrow raised and your curiosity piqued, because what if I told you that one tiny brown coin, a simple OL Lincoln penny from 1973 with a little D mint mark, could be worth a whopping $822,000 today? Yeah, you heard that right. $822,000. For a coin that could be buried between your couch cushions or jingling around in your old jeans right now. Today, we're diving into why this humble 1973 D Lincoln penny is turning heads and making wallets thump a little harder. We'll cover the history, the quirks, how to spot the valuable ones, and yes, a personal story that might hit a little too close to home, especially if you've ever accidentally spent something valuable. So kick back, grab a drink, and hang with me for the next 50 minutes. You just might discover you've been walking around with a tiny treasure in your pocket this whole time. Let's get into it. So let's rewind the clock to 1973. Disco was thriving, bell bottoms were a thing, and Richard Nixon was still in the White House. Amid all this polyester glory, the Denver Mint was quietly cranking out Lincoln pennies by the millions, and now, on the surface, these coins weren't anything wild. They were your standard 1-cent coins, made mostly of copper, bearing Abe Lincoln's familiar face on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. The D Mint mark under the year showed it was minted in Denver. While most 1973 D pennies are worth, well, a penny, there's a tiny fraction of these coins that are incredibly rare due to errors, condition, or oddities in the minting process. Now, you might be wondering, how the heck does a 1-cent coin climb to being worth over 800 grand? Mint errors. These are like the typos of the coin world. Think double strikes, off-center prints, die breaks, or missing elements. When one of these slips through the mint's quality control, collectors go wild for them, especially if the error is rare and the coin is in amazing condition. Then there's condition grading. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being basically perfect. A 1973 D penny in near mint condition, especially with a desirable mint error, is like finding Bigfoot in your sock drawer. Rareness and demand. If only a few of these error coins were ever made, and collectors are chomping at the bit to get their hands on one, prices can skyrocket faster than a crypto coin. After a tweet from Elon. One pristine 1973 D Lincoln penny, complete with a dramatic die error and an almost flawless surface, recently fetched $822,000 at auction. That's right. A penny made of copper, weighing just over 3 grams, sold for enough to buy a house, a boat, and probably your neighbor's car too. Now, let's talk shop. How do you know if you've got one of these golden geese hiding in your change jar? Inspect for errors. Look for any signs of doubling on the date or letters, off-center strikes, or parts of the design missing or warped. Condition. If it's scratched up, bent, or looks like it lost a fight with a lawnmower, it's probably not your jackpot. But if it's crisp, shiny, and looks like it was minted last week, get it checked. Weight and composition. These pennies should weigh around 3.11 grams and be mostly copper. If it's off by much, you may have something truly unique. It's worth investing in a cheap jeweler's loupe or even a USB microscope so you can inspect these bad boys properly. And now let me hit you with a little real-life tale. A few years back, I was helping my grandma clean out her garage. We stumbled on this old rusty coffee tin, the kind with that ancient plastic lid barely hanging on. You guessed it. Coins. Hundreds of them. I'm talking old wheat pennies, buffalo nickels, some foreign coins with holes in the middle, the works. I got excited. Started Googling and researching and even got a coin book. Fast forward a couple of weeks. I'm out buying gas and snacks. I'm a few cents short at checkout, so I dig through my pocket and use a few coins from that old tin. Later that night, no joke, I'm watching a YouTube video, just like this one, and the guy's talking about valuable pennies. I pause the video. One of the examples? A 1973 D Lincoln penny with a specific die break near the date. My blood ran cold. I knew I had one of those. I tore apart my truck, the garbage, even drove back to the gas station. No luck. Gone. I might have spent a 6-figure coin on a bag of jerky and a Gatorade. Check your change. Get those old jars, coffee cans, desk drawers. Look through every last penny. Use a magnifier and look for 1973 D Lincoln pennies with errors. Compare them to photos online or grab a coin book to help identify rare traits. If you think you found something, don't just toss it back in your drawer. Send it to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. Yeah, it might cost a little to grade, but it could turn a 1-cent coin into your retirement plan. And step 4, tell your friends and family. Seriously. You never know who might be sitting on a gold mine without realizing it. Grandma's cookie jar might just hold the key to a beach house in Florida. So there you have it. The 1973 D Lincoln penny, just one tiny coin, but with the potential to completely change your life. And it's out there, right now, waiting to be found. Don't let it slip through your fingers like I did. Check those pennies. Pay attention. And if you ever feel silly spending 10 minutes staring at change under a lamp, just remember, someone out there turned a single penny into $822,000. Before you go, do me a solid, hit that subscribe button. I drop new videos all the time about rare coins, money strategies, and how to spot hidden treasures in everyday life. Give this video a like if you learned something new, and share it with someone who's got a drawer full of old coins they've been ignoring for years. And hey, drop a comment below if you think you've got a valuable coin, or if you've ever spent one by mistake. Misery loves company, folks. Thanks for watching, and may your pockets be full of pennies that are worth way more than a penny. Hey folks, quick question: when was the last time you really looked at your pennies? I mean, not just glancing at them and tossing them into a jar labeled "maybe someday," but actually checking the date, the details, the mint mark, or lack thereof. Because today, we're diving deep into one little copper beauty that could turn your boring old piggy bank into a miniature Fort Knox. Yep, I'm talking about the 1989 no mint mark Lincoln penny. And no, this isn't some internet fairy tale or coin collector's pipe dream. There's a very real version of this coin out there that recently clocked in at an eye-popping $912,000. Yeah. That's not a typo. $912,000. For a penny, stick around, because today we're breaking down exactly why this coin is worth so much, how you can tell if you've got one, and the story of how I almost spent one at a gas station for a stale Snickers bar. Let's get into it. So the 1989 Lincoln penny was minted during the usual year of mass coin production. You've got billions of these floating around. But when I say no mint mark, I mean there's no little letter under the date, no D for Denver, no S for San Francisco, nothing at all. And now, that usually means it was minted in Philadelphia. Philly didn't mark their coins with a letter until 2017, so a no mint mark penny from 1989 isn't weird in itself. It all comes down to a combination of three things: condition, rarity, and a little mystery. We're talking about an error coin. An off the charts, next level, near perfect condition, never seen before type of error. One of these pennies showed up in what collectors call mint state condition, basically, the coin equivalent of a car that's never been driven and still smells like showroom dreams. No scratches, no fingerprints, not even the ghost of a pocket lint particle. The composition was off. While most 1989 pennies were made of zinc with a copper coating, this one was minted on a bronze planchet, which hadn't been used regularly since 1982. Somebody at the mint messed up big time, and that little goof turned into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. That's like ordering fast food and discovering they accidentally gave you a diamond instead of fries. You don't complain, you go straight to the bank, look at the color and weight. If it looks a little darker and weighs about 3.1 grams instead of the standard 2.5 grams, you might have a bronze planchet error. You'll need a digital scale to be sure. No scratches. No damage. If your coin looks like it's been through a blender, sorry, it's worth about 1 cent. If all of that lines up, you might want to call a coin grading company like PCGS or NGC and have them check it out. If it's the real deal, you're sitting on almost $1 million. A couple of years ago, I was cleaning out the junk drawer, you know the one. Batteries from 2004, mystery keys that open nothing, and, of course, a giant mountain of loose change. I'm digging through it like a raccoon at a buffet, and I see this older-looking penny. No mint mark. 1989. And it looked different. Thicker. A bit more solid. I had this little moment where I thought, I wonder if this is one of those rare ones. But then I got distracted. I found an old gift card to Chili's, and suddenly I was dreaming about baby back ribs. So what do? I shove the penny in my jacket pocket and forget all about it. A few days later, I'm at the gas station, paying for snacks. I'm digging around in that same jacket pocket, hand the cashier some coins, and guess what? Yep. I gave away that penny. To this day, I still don't know if it was the one. Could have been worth less than $1. Could have been worth $912,000. And some guy in line behind me probably walked away thinking he just scored big on Funyuns and Fate. Don't ignore your pocket change. And maybe don't chase expired gift cards over potentially life-changing coins. Let's talk value real quick. The most famous 1989 no-mint mark penny that sold for nearly $1 million did so because of its pristine condition and unique bronze planchet. That's the elite tier, but even if your coin isn't that exact error, 1989 pennies in high grades, like MS67 and above, can still fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars. That's not small change, and if you get it professionally graded and it turns out to be an authentic transitional error? Jackpot! Coins like that aren't just valuable, they're historical. It might be holding your next vacation, your mortgage payment, or heck, your entire retirement plan. The 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is proof that even the tiniest, most forgotten things in life can have massive value. All it takes is a few minutes, a little curiosity, and maybe a digital scale from Amazon. Tonight, before you crash on the couch or scroll mindlessly through cat videos, dump out your change jar. Look for that 1989 penny. Give it a little shine. Weigh it. And who knows, you might be holding a $912,000 secret. And if you love tips like this, rare coin finds, and stories about how I accidentally give away fortunes at gas stations, hit that subscribe button. Like this video, share it with your coin collecting buddy or your grandma who hoards pennies, and tap that notification bell so you never miss a chance to strike gold with your spare change. Trust me, we've got way more coins to cover, and some of them are even crazier than this one. Thanks for watching, and remember, your fortune might just be hiding in plain sight. Go check your pennies. Hey there, fellow treasure hunters, let me ask you something. Have you ever been so broke that you started checking under your couch cushions for spare change, only to find enough for a gum wrapper and maybe some lint? Well, what if I told you there might be a fortune hiding in your pocket right now? Yeah, you heard me. That old penny jingling around in your car's cup holder could be worth almost $1 million. We're talking about the legendary 1993 Lincoln penny. Not just your average, run-of-the-mill copper-looking cent, this thing is packing a $930,000 price tag. That's right, $930,000. For one single penny. Now before you go dumping your piggy bank on the kitchen table, sit back, grab a cup of coffee or your beverage of choice, and let's dive into what makes this little brown coin so outrageously valuable. I've got a wild personal story tied to this one, plus we're going to talk about what to look for, how to tell if you've got a jackpot, and why coin collecting might just be your new favorite hobby or side hustle. Alright, let's set the stage. It's 1993. Bill Clinton is in the White House. Jurassic Park just hit theaters. Beanie Babies were the hottest thing since sliced bread. And over in Denver, the US Mint was cranking out Lincoln pennies like nobody's business. They produced millions of these things. So why is this one, just one specific 1993 penny, worth nearly $1 million? Well, it comes down to a perfect storm of rarity, condition, and a little thing us coin nerds like to call a mint error. The D in 1993 stands for the Denver Mint. Now usually, coins from Denver aren't rare. They mass-produce them like candy. But this particular penny? It's got a one-of-a-kind twist. Some versions of the 1993 Lincoln penny were struck with a rare error, what's known as a doubled die obverse. That's a fancy way of saying that when they stamped the coin, the design was misaligned or duplicated slightly. That results in a doubling effect, usually noticeable on the date, the word Liberty, or good old Abe's face. And now, this isn't some fuzzy mistake you need a microscope to see. No sir. The doubling is visible to the naked eye. And if you've got one in mint state condition, basically fresh out of the press and never been touched by human hands, that's where the value skyrockets. Let me say this, not all 1993 pennies are worth this much. In fact, 99.999% of them are worth 1 cent, give or take a little nostalgia. But that rare error combined with a pristine condition? That's the moneymaker. There was one that sold at auction recently for $930,000. Certified, graded, slabbed, and auctioned to a collector with more money than I have socks. The coin had not only the rare doubling error but also the perfect red luster that collectors drool over. So, about 2 years ago, I was at my buddy Dave's garage sale. Dave's the kind of guy who has 19 coffee mugs but only drinks tea. He's also the guy who throws coins in jars and forgets about them. He had this old Folgers can full of pennies for sale, $5. I figured, what the heck, I'll take it. Maybe I'll find something good. I took that can home, dumped it on the kitchen table, and started sorting like I was mining for gold. And sure enough, I found a 1993 D penny. I got all excited. Called my wife over. Started Googling like a madman. Turns out it wasn't the valuable one. Had a big OL scratch across Abe's face and was duller than a Tuesday morning meeting. Still, it was thrilling. That rush of maybe, just maybe, ever since, I've been checking every penny that crosses my path. You should see the looks I get at gas stations. One time I held up the line at Walgreens for 10 minutes because I was checking the date on all my change. Worth it? Absolutely. And now if you're thinking, okay, how do I know if I've got the big money version? Here's what you need to do. This will show up on the letters, like Liberty or In God We Trust, and the numbers. You can Google images of what a doubled die obverse looks like to compare. Collectors love red pennies. Not red like fire truck, but a coppery, untouched red tone. If yours is shiny and flawless, you've got a better shot. If you think you've got something, send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll give it a number score, and that's what tells collectors how valuable it really is. By the way, this isn't the only penny worth big bucks. There are other years and mint marks that are sneaky valuable. Like the 1982 small date, the 1992 close AM, and of course, the Holy Grail 1909 SVDB.SO. If coin hunting becomes your thing, you'll want to learn all the hidden gems. You never know what's sitting in your pocket change right now. Alright folks, if you made it this far, you're now part of the exclusive club of people who know that a boring OL penny might be worth nearly $1 million. The 1993 D Lincoln penny isn't just a coin, it's a reminder that value can hide in plain sight. Whether it's a treasure buried in your couch cushions or a gem sitting in your junk drawer, there's always something worth discovering. Well, I want you to go grab your change jar, your glove box stash, your laundry money, heck, go check your old jean pockets, and start looking for that 1993 D penny. And if you love this kind of info, coin values, rare finds, and everyday items that are secretly gold mines, then do me a solid. Hit that subscribe button. Smash the like. Ring the little bell so you never miss a chance to learn which coins could change your life, because here on this channel, we turn pocket change into paycheck potential. And I promise you, you'll never look at coins the same way again. Hey there, fellow treasure hunters. What if I told you that a dirty old penny from 1972, yeah, just 1 cent, could be worth more than a Ferrari? I'm talking about the 1972 D Lincoln penny, and guess what? One of these little copper beauties is sitting pretty with a value of $610,000. That's not a typo. That's 610 followed by 3 zeros. All from a coin that most folks would toss in a tip jar. Now before you go tearing apart your couch cushions or raiding your grandma's coin jar, stick around. We're diving deep into how this humble Denver minted coin turned into a small fortune, how you can spot one, and the juicy backstory that might just make you laugh, cry, and maybe even check the change in your car's cup holder. So kick back, grab a coffee or a cold drink, and let's talk pennies, the kind that can pay off your mortgage. Let me set the stage. It's 1972. Bell bottoms are in, Nixon's in the White House, and folks are rocking out to Led Zeppelin. Meanwhile, over at the Denver Mint, a batch of pennies is rolling off the press. Seems like business as usual, right? See, every once in a while, the mint machines get a little moody. They mess up, spit out errors, or create oddities. And that's where things get interesting. In the case of the 1972 D Lincoln penny, there were a few weird ducks in the batch, minting errors so rare that they turned regular old pocket change into collector's gold. Now don't confuse this with the famous 1972 no mint mark doubled die penny. That's from Philly. Our story is about the D mint mark, the Denver edition. It's a sleeper hit. Not as widely known, but when collectors found out what was going on, the game changed. Only a small number of 1972 D Lincoln pennies were struck using a misaligned or overpolished die. That means details were either missing or weirdly distorted. Some had ghost-like lettering, others showed odd smudging on Lincoln's face, like Abe had a rough night out. Combine that with super high grades, meaning coins that have basically never been touched by human hands, ones that look like they were printed this morning, and you've got the recipe for big money. One 1972 D Lincoln penny, graded MS-67 by a top-tier grading service, sold for over $600,000 at auction. That's more than a house. That's more than my neighbor's entire car collection, which is mostly just rusty Fords. But still, I remember a few years back, I was at this flea market on a random Sunday, hunting for vintage signs. You know, the kind that say drink cola, 5 cents. Guy at one of the stalls had a tin full of old pennies. I offered him $5 for the lot just for fun. Took it home, started going through them, and boom, there it was. A 1972 penny, and now, I didn't get the jackpot coin. Mine was a little beat up, like it had been through a few recessions. But still, knowing that I was holding a coin from the same batch as the big money penny, I felt like Indiana Jones. I got it graded anyway. It came back at MS-63. Not exactly $600,000, but it's still worth a few $100. Not bad for a coin that cost me less than a sip of gas station coffee. Start by checking your pennies. Grab a magnifying glass. Yes, it makes you look like a detective, and yes, it's worth it. Look for a 1972 date with a small d under the year. That D means Denver, and next, check the condition. If it looks like it just came out of the mint yesterday, no scratches, sharp lines, shiny red copper, you might be onto something. And if you really think you've got a winner, don't go posting it on social media just yet. Get it graded by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. That's the only way to know its real value. Those folks don't mess around. By the way, be careful of fakes. If you're buying one online, only deal with trusted sellers. There are folks out there polishing pennies in their basements trying to pass them off as rare coins. And they're good at it too. Shiny doesn't always mean valuable, sometimes it just means someone used toothpaste. The Lincoln penny has been around since 1909. That's over a century of copper. Abe looking serious and squinting to the right. From 1962 to 1982, these pennies were made mostly of copper. So even regular 1972 pennies are worth more than a cent just in metal content, though you can't legally melt them down. Yeah, Uncle Sam doesn't like you melting money. High-grade 1972 pennies are rare because most folks didn't think twice about them. They ended up in vending machines, parking meters, or dropped between couch cushions where they hung out with popcorn kernels and old M&Ms. The legendary 1972 Lincoln penny. A coin that proves even the smallest things can carry massive value. And the next time someone says it's just a penny, you can tell them, yeah? Tell that to the guy who cashed his in for $610,000. Coin collecting isn't just a hobby. It's part detective work, part treasure hunt, and part, holy smokes, I just paid my car off with a penny. Smash that subscribe button like you're cracking open a roll of pennies from 1972. Hit the bell so you never miss a tip that could turn your loose change into life-changing cash. Drop a like if you've ever found a weird coin and thought, maybe this is something. And leave a comment telling me your best coin find or asking what coins you want me to cover next. I've got more strategies, more stories, and more tips coming up, because I want you to be the guy who pulls a $610,000 penny out of a parking lot and doesn't even flinch. Where pocket change might just make you rich. I mean it. Today, we're diving into something that could literally be sitting on your dresser, under your couch cushions, or jingling around in the bottom of your washing machine. We're talking about a 2006 Lincoln penny with no mint mark that's worth a jaw-dropping $730,000. But yes, you heard that right. $730,000. For 1 cent now. Before you start flipping your couch upside down and shaking every piggy bank in the house, sit tight. Because in the next 50 minutes, I'm going to break down exactly what makes this penny so valuable, how to spot one, what makes it different, and even throw in a personal story of how I once nearly gave away a rare coin without knowing it. True story, and it still haunts me. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's make sense of this one. Pun very much intended. A penny that packs a punch. Alright, let's start with the basics. The 2006 Lincoln penny. Nothing special at first glance, right? It's got Honest Abe's profile staring off into the distance like he's lost in thought about how expensive eggs have gotten. But then you flip it, and there's the Lincoln Memorial on the back, same as always. And now here's where it gets juicy. This penny doesn't have a mint mark. That's the little letter under the date that tells you where it was made. Usually, for modern pennies, you'll see a D for Denver or a P for Philadelphia. But this one? Nothing. Zilch. It's like the mint ghosted its own coin. You might be thinking, okay, no mint mark, so what? Well, in 2006, most pennies were made in Philadelphia, and Philadelphia coins often don't have a mint mark. That's normal. But here's the kicker, this particular no mint mark penny isn't just a regular Philly issue. It's a freak. A beautiful, money-making freak of numismatic nature. You see, this specific penny has a minting error. And not just any error, it's a rare one. Experts believe that during production, a misalignment happened, or a unique die was used that gave this penny unusual characteristics. We're talking about doubling on the date and lettering, off-center strikes, and an unusual reddish hue in some cases that made collectors raise their eyebrows and their bidding paddles. The error that pays coin collectors live for errors. That's what turns a regular coin into a six-figure superstar. With the 2006 no mint mark Lincoln penny, the most valuable ones share a few key traits. Doubled Die Obverse. That's a fancy way of saying some letters or numbers on the front of the coin look like they've been stamped twice. Off-center strike. The design isn't perfectly centered. The more off it is, without cutting off Lincoln's beautiful forehead, the better. Color and luster. A few of these rare pennies have a deep red or reddish-brown color, which appeals to serious collectors. Combine those features with the lack of a mint mark and bingo, you're looking at a coin that fetched over $700,000 at auction. Not bad for something that normally just buys you a gumball or gets stuck between the couch cushions forever. Let me tell you a story now. Let me tell you how I almost lost what could have been a fortune, and it still keeps me up some nights. It was about 5 years ago. I'd just gotten into coin collecting and didn't know my mint marks from my milk duds. I had this little shoebox full of coins my grandpa gave me. All kinds of stuff. Old wheat pennies, a couple of buffalo nickels, even a silver dime that looked like it had been through World War III. One day, I'm going through them, and I find a penny that looked a little off. The lettering looked like it had the morning jitters. The date was funky. But I figured, meh, it's just a beat-up coin. Threw it into a charity jar at a gas station. 3 weeks later, I watch a video about error pennies. They show a coin that looks exactly like the one I tossed. My jaw hit the floor. I actually called the gas station, asked if they still had the change jar. The teenager on the phone laughed and said, "Dude, that's long gone." I don't know if I lost a $700,000 penny that day, but let me tell you, now I check every coin I touch like I'm Indiana Jones holding a treasure map. Section 4. How to spot the $730,000 treasure. Now let's get practical. You might be thinking, okay, this is cool and all, but how do I know if I've got the penny? 2006 on the front, no mint mark underneath it. Look closely at Liberty and the numbers in the date. If the letters or numbers look a little blurry or doubled, bingo. Is Lincoln shilling a little too far left or right? If the whole design looks off-center, that could be a winner. Condition. The better the condition, the better the payday. If it looks like it just came out of a roll, you're in great shape. Get yourself a jeweler's loupe or a magnifying glass. You can snag one online for under $10. It's the coin collector's best friend. Here's the deal. Collectors and investors are always hunting for ultra-rare coins. The fewer there are, the more valuable they become. Combine that rarity with a cool backstory, a documented error, and solid condition, and bam, you've got coin gold. The last recorded sale of a 2006 no mint mark Lincoln penny with those error traits brought in $730,000 at a high-profile coin auction. That's not some sketchy eBay listing. That's a real auction with real collectors and real wallets, and as the years go by, these coins only get more valuable. So even if you're not ready to sell today, it might be worth holding on to. You never know when the market might spike. So let's bring it home. The 2006 no mint mark Lincoln penny might just be the most exciting penny you've never paid attention to. It's tiny, it's copper, and it could be worth more than a house in the suburbs. Remember, always check your change. Always double-check those mint marks, or lack thereof. And if something looks weird, don't assume it's just a beat-up coin. It might be your ticket to financial freedom, or at least a really, really good vacation. If today's video is you digging through your penny jar or texting your grandma about her change stash, then mission accomplished. If you found this video helpful, fun, or just a little more entertaining than watching paint dry, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. I've got more tips, more coins, and more stories coming your way. From rare quarters worth millions to the dime that might change your life, we've got it all here. Hit the bell so you don't miss the next big coin you might already own. Now go check your couch cushions, folks. There might be a fortune waiting. Hey there, fellow treasure hunters. Let me ask you something. Have you ever dropped a penny and thought, it's just 1 cent, no big deal? Well, what if I told you that penny could have been worth almost $1 million? Yeah, I know. Now you're thinking about every penny you've ever lost in your car seat, right? Today, we're diving into one of the most surprising finds in the world of pocket change, the 1991 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. That's right. A tiny copper coin that most of us would walk right past on the sidewalk is now stirring up big waves in the collector world. And get this, one of these little guys sold for a whopping $870,000. That's enough to buy a house, a new truck, and still have money left over to fill your couch cushions with even more pennies. So grab your change jar, maybe a cup of coffee, or something stronger if you're feeling wild, because you might just be sitting on a goldmine and not even know it. Body, 5 o'clock to 45:00. Alright, let's get into the nitty gritty. What's the big deal about this 1991 penny with no mint mark? Part 1. What does no mint mark even mean? Let's start with the basics. Most modern pennies have a tiny letter under the date that tells you where the coin was minted. You'll usually see a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. Sometimes you get a P for Philadelphia, although pennies usually skip that one. Philly Mint doesn't typically stamp its pennies with a letter, but in 1991, something weird happened. A batch of pennies showed up with no mint mark at all, and these weren't just from Philadelphia doing its usual thing. These no mint mark coins had characteristics that made collectors stop and say, "Hold on a second, this ain't right." Experts believe these coins may have been struck with a die that was meant to carry a mint mark but didn't. That's like ordering a burger and getting it without the bun. Something's missing, and that something can make all the difference. Part 2. What makes this penny worth $870,000? So how does a little mistake lead to a coin selling for nearly $1 million? Well, rarity is the name of the game. In the world of coin collecting, the weirder and rarer the coin, the bigger the payday. Think of it like baseball cards. A regular old card? Not worth much. But one with a misprint, or from a short production run. Now you're talking money. In the case of the 1991 no mint mark Lincoln penny, there are only a handful known to exist, maybe even fewer than a dozen. That kind of scarcity makes collectors go absolutely bananas. Combine that with the coin's condition, we're talking sharp details, bright color, minimal scratches, and you've got yourself a prize worthy of an auction room, not a vending machine. Part 3, a personal story, the penny that got away. Alright, story time. Let me take you back a few years to a simpler time, back when I still thought coins were just things you used to scratch off lottery tickets. So I'm at this garage sale, right? Some older gentleman had jars and jars of old coins. I didn't know much, but I figured, hey, I'll grab a handful for $5, just for fun. And fast forward 2 weeks. I'm cleaning out my desk and find those coins again. I start looking through them, just to see what I got. I find a 1991 penny, no mint mark. I get excited, like really excited. I start Googling. My heart is pounding. Then I look closer, scratched, discolored, looks like it went through a blender and then lived under a refrigerator for a decade. Womp womp. Not the $1 million find I was hoping for. But it was that moment that pulled me into the wild and wonderful world of coin collecting. And let me tell you, I've been hooked ever since. Part 4, how to tell if you have the $870,000 penny. Now here's what you've been waiting for. You're probably thinking, alright, how do I know if I've got the penny? Here's what to look for: a no mint mark under the year 1991, that's the first red flag. In a good way, sharp details, the Lincoln portrait should be clean and crisp. If Abe looks like he's been in a bar fight, probably not your $1 million ticket. Red or red-brown color, coins in mint condition often have that fresh off the press color. If your penny's still shiny like it just came from the bank, that's a good sign. Professional grading: if you think you've got the right coin, send it in to get graded. The pros will tell you if it's the real deal. And yes, it costs a bit, but trust me, if it comes back as genuine, you're not gonna care about that grading fee. Part 5, what to do if you find one. So let's say you do find one. First, don't spend it. I know, that sounds obvious, but hey, it happens. I once spent a 1972 Doubled Die penny on a gas station coffee. Still haunts me to this day. Don't clean it. Seriously. Do not clean it. You might think you're making it look better, but to collectors, a clean coin is like reheated fast food. It's never the same. A third, contact a reputable coin dealer or auction house. You're gonna want someone who knows their stuff. You wouldn't sell a Picasso at a yard sale, right? You wouldn't believe the stuff people find in their change. I met a guy who found a 1983 copper penny worth thousands while buying a candy bar. Another person found a 2004 Wisconsin quarter with an extra leaf on the coin. That's a $600 quarter. Alright folks, if today taught us anything, it's that no coin is too small to ignore. That penny you leave in the tip jar could be worth more than your car. Maybe even your house. The 1991 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is proof that history, mistakes, and a little luck can turn spare change into serious cash. And the best part? These treasures are out there in junk drawers, piggy banks, couch cushions, and old jeans pockets just waiting to be discovered. So start checking your coins, people. Get yourself a magnifying glass. Turn that old jar of pennies into your own little goldmine. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that subscribe button like it owes you money. Hit the bell too, so you never miss a tip on rare coins that could change your life. I've got tons more coming your way, from $1 million nickels to quarters that could pay for college. Leave a comment if you've ever found something valuable in your change. Or if you just want to brag about your coin collection. I love reading those stories. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Keep hunting, stay curious, and may your next penny be the one worth $870,000.